So this is part one in a series demonstrating how we can automate various processes in construction and the management of construction projects using modern data and AI tools. And this first part will be focused on quality and safety management, showing how we can use AI to analyze recent incidents in order to detect some recurring patterns that we can work on to reduce in the future, as well as highlighting any currently active action items that we need to take care of. And so we're going to walk through this process using this sample application that I built. And here our users can select one of our construction sites here for which they want to analyze the recent incidents. They can also select the date range, be it last week, the last month, or something else. Here we'll just select the last 3 weeks, for example, and then we can start the process here. And the first thing that's happening here is that we are pulling the incident data from whatever system we are using to manage these incidents, or whatever database we have. And then after that, we are passing that incident data into an AI language model with the instructions to generate a report in this certain format that I have defined. And this could be any kind of a format that's the most useful. Here I just have this relatively simple 3-part analysis, starting with the summary, a high-level description of what's going on in the site, what are the incidents about generally. And then in the second part, we have a more analytical reading of the incidents, trying to understand these recurring patterns in the data, such as a pattern of substandard work and oversight from contractors, or some problems with HVAC and temperature control that are seen across several different incidents. And then in this last part, which has 3 subsections, we are focusing on the status of these incidents, so any kind of updates, tasks that are overdue, etc. And this first subpart lists all the incidents that have been resolved already, including who resolved them, if they were resolved by the due date or later, and also if there were any comments associated with the incident as it was resolved. And then in the second part, we have some incidents that are still unresolved, but there's been some updates, some comments, some progress on the incidents, but perhaps still waiting on some other bottlenecks or next steps, such as seeking a second opinion from another firm or waiting for an electrician appointment for next week. And then finally here at the bottom, we just list the incidents that haven't been resolved, there have been no updates, and they are also past their due dates. So those kinds of incidents we list here at the bottom. Now additionally, we also give the user an option if they want some additional analysis on some other topic that isn't covered in this basic report. They can also include it here. They can add that analysis here in this field, so they can write something like analyze subcontractor performance in more detail, and then the language model is going to generate a new section to this report focusing on this specific theme that the user has specified. And like so, we now have this additional section where we get some more details about the various subcontractors that are present in our sample incidents and ways in which there have been persistent issues in their service in this selected period. And then of course we can also export this document, this report, out of this UI, either as a Word document, which is just this very simply formatted report where we have basically all the same information as we did in the UI, all the incidents listed here, and then the analysis here at the bottom, including the additional section that we added at the end about the performance of our contractors. And also if we don't feel the need to make any changes or adjustments to the document, we can also export it directly as a PDF. That also works. And then, and I think this part is very important, we can also send it directly to Teams. So when I choose that option, and now I open my Teams account, we can see here that we have this brand new message here sent to this channel, and the report has been automatically uploaded into SharePoint, into this nice folder structure where we have all our reports organized by construction projects. And then here we can see our brand new report here that has just been generated. And we can also add other features into this Teams message, as you see here. We've also added a mention for all the overdue tasks. So these two are the same ones as we saw earlier in the application. Right here. And so then in the Teams message, we are mentioning the person who's responsible for these tickets so they can check them out or give us some status update on what's going on. And that ties into a very important point that I also want to bring up here, which is that although I'm showing all of this now through this web application UI, simply because it makes for a better demo and it's easier to understand exactly what's happening in this process, all of this could also just be a completely automatic process without needing people to go use yet another software tool, but rather you could just have this process run every Friday morning, let's say, pulling in all the incidents for all your active sites, generating these reports for all those sites, uploading them into SharePoint, into the correct folders, and sending them into the correct teams and the correct channels. And so often that would be the much better way to do this rather than having yet another website that people need to remember to use and go click these selections every week. Instead, it could just happen every Friday, 6 a.m. on the first Monday of every month. You can just log in to Teams and those reports will be available to everybody without anybody needing to ask IT for data or needing to copy incident details one by one into a Word document. Even if somebody gets sick, those reports will just always be there exactly on time. So that's it for this part 1. I hope you found it interesting. And stay tuned for the follow-ups in this series where I'll be touching on 2 other central topics in construction. One being RFIs, requests for information, and how to manage those more efficiently, and the other one about scheduling. So I'll be posting those as well in the next 1 or 2 weeks.